chairman of the Public Affairs Analysts of Nigeria, Enugu chapter, Dr. Ambrose Igboke. Thank you again, Dr. Ambrose Igboke, for joining me this morning. Well, let's talk about Trump's second term and what this means for Nigeria. From your point of view, what do you think this means for Nigeria? How can Nigeria continue to maintain bilateral relationship with America, considering the personality now at the helm?
It means a lot because Nigeria's foreign relations with the outside countries, we have two most important countries that we have foreign relations with. And the two of them are Britain and the United States of America. They are the two most important foreign countries that we are very close with.
Where do you put China, though, considering our recent relationship with them?
Yeah, China may come maybe third or fourth, maybe, because we also have a very close tie with France. Because these are things that dated back so many years ago. These are not just China just came into the picture recently. We are talking about deep-rooted relationships we have had over the years. And when you talk, in fact, we have to model our presidential. We changed from parliamentary system of government between 1960 to 1963. That was British model. And then we moved to American model in 1979. And we have been practicing American model till now. And so that's how close we are to the United States. We're trying to copy many of their things. When you check the countries that Nigerians have integrated to, mostly, it's Britain and America. We have a large number of British and American Nigerians out there. Now, recently, Canada has come into the picture, and there are other countries. So we are very close to the United States. A lot of Nigerians in diaspora in America, there was a one time they said one in every 6 immigrants is a Nigerian or something. So that's how many we are in the United States. Now, President Donald Trump was not particularly happy, or will I say he was very disappointed or very disappointed by President Buhari's government. And he didn't hide it. He was not even happy with that at all. So that was where he made that infamous statement about Nigeria, where he said that Nigeria was a shithole country. I don't know if you remember that statement he made. And so that was how disgusted he was with Nigerians, with Buhari's government. So maybe that is because these guys have a lot of security reports on our president. They have a lot of information on our country, even information we don't know. They have it. So this is for us. This is a new opportunity to change the narrative. Thank God Buhari is no longer there. We have a new president. So I hope that Donald Trump will also start looking at who is the new leadership. It's not the leadership he knew when he was president the first time that he's still there. We have a new set of leaders. And therefore, we hope that we'll be able to now start seeking very open-minded discussions and partnerships with Nigeria. There are so many opportunities like in Nepal and a partnership project for Africa where we are supposed to be. I don't know what Nigeria has done with that. There are so many opportunities that Nigeria have not been able to take the opportunity of. We just sign bilateral relationships. We sign bilateral agreements and multilateral agreements, and we don't take advantage of that. So it is time to. We should not wait for Donald Trump to make policies that will affect us or positively or negatively. I think we should also go to them. Nigeria now should start making policies, should start making plans to see how they can start making projections, we start making proposals to the United States on how to work with them. Remember, it was also Trump that approved the sale of Tucano jets for fighting terrorists for Nigeria. It was Donald Trump time. He was the one that approved that Tucano jet that was delivered during Biden's time. So I also think he's interested. Every country in the world, every president of the United States would be interested in Nigeria because Nigeria is a powerhouse. Nigeria is the biggest black nation on earth. Nigeria is the only country that has virtually almost all the mineral resources in this world. Nigeria has the manpower. So there are two ways why you must be interested in Nigeria. Because all the resources are here. So many of them come to steal our resources. Many of them come to exploit our resources. And because we are not a very serious country in preserving what is our own, they lose these things and go almost for nothing. So they're interested in Nigeria.
Dr. Ambrose, the thing with the personality of Donald Trump, you'd realize in his first term, his mantra was America first. And that tells you a lot about his plans, his direction. He's looking inward first. Do you think he's going to be concerned about, of course we live in a global space, and yes, relationship with this, relationship with that country and the rest, but it looks to be thinking about America first and how America would benefit from America and not necessarily the rest of the world. Let's talk about one major thing that lots of Nigerians and indeed Africans have been concerned about, and he's talked about that yesterday too. I'm talking Donald Trump. Do you think his stance on immigration and trade could reshape relations with Nigeria or between Nigeria and the United States? Or you think, or does his unpredictability also to present more risk than opportunities?
Well, first of all, every serious country, let me use the word, every serious country is selfish. So it is the country first. It is Britain first. Britain has never hidden it. It is France first. It is Germany first. It is Russia first. So any serious country protects its own interests first before even looking out for any other opportunity. The countries are not Father Christmas, they don't come. But for some years now, the Democrats in America especially, and some Republican government, has beginning to speak, portray themselves as the police of the world. They fall under the illusion that they are the new emperors, and therefore they must control everything, put the president in countries to rule, do this, destroy economy, do this and that. So over the years, they neglected, for example, during Biden's time, over $100 billion was voted for arms, to support Ukraine with arms. A very, very stupid and needless war. And you are voting on $120 billion, $130 billion, and it went to Ukraine. So where does those money go? The money goes to arms manufacturers in the US. So it is not actually the American citizen it is benefiting. It is actually the business people that are benefiting from all these aids. So somebody like Trump sees these things as needless, as useless. But they should not be fighting wars that doesn't benefit America. How does the war with Ukraine and Russia benefit America? Because you want to have a base in close to Russia. Are you at war with Russia? So all these kind of needless expansionist things going to support movements like gay movements, free speech, some of the things about climate change. Donald Trump is not a fan of climate change. For me, as a person, most of this climate change halubalu are businesses for people who are producing alternative energy. They are nonsensical. I will defend it anywhere. America and Europe still uses a lot of coal today. But they are blocking us in Africa from using coal. We are signing Kyoto Protocol. We are signing things we don't even recognize, we don't understand. They are running their own coal businesses. They are using coal to power the electricity. We are not using our own to do anything. Yes, we go there and buy solar energy and solar power. So the African countries are mostly, they're in a state of, what will I call it, a state of ignoramus about this thing. Mm-hmm. They don't do anything. So Donald Trump doesn't support those things. So he will not spend money on some of those things. He's a businessman. Most of all these other people like Biden has been a politician for more than 50 years. But Donald Trump is a businessman, so he runs the business. So it's more interested in the business that will benefit America. For example, the money wasted in Ukraine and the America has wasted there can build infrastructure. The United States of America has one of the oldest infrastructure. They don't have modern infrastructure. A public infrastructure. Most of their things are dilapidated. They don't have the kind of speed train systems, for example, that we have in Europe and in China and all those things. So they need to overhaul their systems. And this is because, a lot of the rich Americans, where they're having factories in China, and then they will produce things in China and move to America to sell. So Donald Trump is against it. He was like, If you want to sell in America, produce in America. So there's going to be trade wars. There was trade wars in the first tenure, and it's going to say that there's going to be trade wars because all these things that politicians have businesses abroad, Americans lose money abroad and bring things in. That is going to stop them. That's American first. So that's what it means American first. So it doesn't mean that it's going to. So American first is that if you want to do business with Nigeria, if you're going to think of this country, it has been happening. So Nigeria too, we should bring Nigeria first. If you're going to sign protocol, if you're going to sign agreement, it should be what is beneficial to your people and not what is written in textbooks and where they speak conferences in the United Nations meeting and all those things. Yeah. It has to be what benefits your people.
You've said in closing, right? You said that we have a good relationship with the United States. What more can President Tinubu do now that President Donald Trump of the United States has been inaugurated, has started working already on day one? What can we do? In what direction would you go? I mean, I listened to a very respected, say legal luminary in the country yesterday say that the president, that's President Tinubu, should not bother going at loggerheads with Donald Trump. But in what direction would you advise President Tinubu to deal with Donald Trump?
Well, the first thing to do Donald Trump is Donald Trump doesn't suffer food gladly. Donald Trump is a businessman. He doesn't try to engage in empty things that won't give him profit and the rest. If you remember when he was president the first time, there was this issue of one of our colleagues who was working for the New York Times. I mean, who was a columnist on Khashoggi. Remember Khashoggi?
Yeah.
The Saudi Arabian journalist.
The journalist, yes.
Against, and then he was killed, was murdered in most gruesome manner. And there was a deal with the Prince of Saudi Arabia with America, $100 billion deal. America was supposed to supply their arms and all those things. And then American human rights activists were suspecting that a journalist was killed by the Prince. And they were saying that Donald Trump should call the deal. That's what I'm talking about. And this deal is for America, that should bring $100 billion into the American economy. That's not going to cut it off. Other people that have cut it off for humanitarian reasons, to add pressure to Saudi Arabia, to even do sanctions and all those things. Donald Trump is not interested in all those things. So we should not start looking at this guy as a new guy. So sometimes Donald Trump may not be interested in all these our gay policies. Now some of these policies gay that they are trying to push down on us and the rest. Nigeria should reject this, for example, and start negotiating with him from another perspective. The issue of terrorism. This is the time to sit down properly with the American government and say, look, how do we help us, if we are serious anyway, to curb these things? How do we help us stop this thing? Yeah, there's also the issue of trade. Trade balance between America and Nigeria. Oil, for example, and other things. How do we get the technical expertise? All those things. What are America has policies, like NEPA that I mentioned earlier, that are supposed to be presented in Africa. How? How do we now start taking initiative for the rest of African countries when it comes to negotiating things for Africa and the rest, so that some of these things will start coming to us? So it is time to start positioning ourselves to take the leadership position, so that in the next 4 years we would have, cemented a lot of things that will benefit Nigeria, not only Nigeria, but Nigeria will not act as a hub for Africa-United States relationship. Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Ambrose Igboke, Chairman, Public Affairs Analyst of Nigeria, Enugu Chapter, for your thoughts on the program this morning.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Appreciate that. All right, Lagos, Nigeria. That's a conversation on Donald Trump's second term and implications for Nigeria and indeed the continent, as Nigeria plays a lead role in the continent Africa.